Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Bleav in Iowa. I'm Brady Beedon. He's Logan Blackman. He is Hawkeye, former Hawkeye tight end Dominique Dafney. And apologies for this coming out late. Life got in the way a little bit, but I don't think we were eager to do this show anyway, as Iowa State knocks off Iowa 16-13. Had about 3 days to really digest this. And gentlemen, I guess we'll just start with what the hell happened? What are your thoughts? Because there's not a lot of great to pull out of this.
Well, I wish we still did have a Dominique Dafney on the team with all the tight ends that are going down right now. It should be current Iowa Hawkeye tight end Dominique Dafney, but yeah, it's that game sucked. There's no other really other way to put it. There was a little bit of feeling of hope right before halftime with the 16, 17, 18 play drive that they had, but apart from that, it was a pretty helpless feeling of like, okay, this is bad. And then like the second you got momentum, Gronowski throws the interception, stays up 10-3. You're like, well, there's no way they're going to move the ball at all. Got a little bit of we'll call it a lucky bounce on the punt return. So we'll call that a nice little gift there. So apart from that, it just I I don't know. It sucked. It was not fun at all. And what's weird about it is that going into the year, I wasn't too confident, and I don't like saying this, but I wasn't too confident against Iowa State this year. But as the game gets closer and closer and the adrenaline gets pumped, you're like, no, we're losing this game. But I didn't think that after this game, with it being a 3-point game, that I would feel this low about what the offense is, what this team's looking like. There was some, like, I thought Carson Shire played well in this game. I thought he played well. I thought Jazz Patterson played well, but it's just, it's a rough feeling right
Well,
now, and yeah, I needed a couple of days to recover from that
I
one.
think it's just because it was so wholly gettable. Like it was right there. Iowa State, and I said this at halftime, it felt like the inverse of last year, where, it felt like Iowa could have put away Iowa State in the first half and they let them hang in. Where this time, Iowa State kept making mistakes, making mistakes. You're like, okay, the door's open, walk through it. And they just never did. And I think that's why I'm with you, Logan. If you made me bet a mortgage payment on who was going to win this game, I would have taken Iowa State beforehand. However, at halftime, I'm going, oh, Iowa's winning this game because Iowa State just couldn't put them down. And then Iowa just never took advantage of it. Just never did. And I think that was the most frustrating part is they very easily could have won this game, and they didn't. And credit to Iowa State, they made a couple more plays than the Hawkeyes did.
Yeah, bad ball. Just it's kind of embarrassing. I mean, I feel like it's always embarrassing, but I think when you look at the numbers and people talk about we've thrown for less than 130 yards in 2 games combined, and we just talked about how we have what second least amount of pass yards in the country out of 136 teams. We're 135th. Like it just gets old to hear the same,
And paying a quarterback two
let's
million.
just it you can pay me 150, I'll come back and throw an out route. You feel me? I think I'm capable of doing that. But yeah, it's hard to continue to come back every week and try to look at the silver lining in it. And we talked about it during the game. It was like these aren't impossible Patrick Mahomes sidearm type throws that we're missing. We're missing out routes. We're missing slants. We're missing overs coming across the ball behind. So it's just it's a broken record, but it's got to change. And whatever that looks like, it needs to happen. If he needs, like, we need him to get better just all around. Because I mean, we don't really have much to lean back on this year. Obviously, we have Hank Brown, but are we really going to give the guy the keys? Like that's not what Kirk Ferentz is going to do. So we're going to need him to get better, like just plain and simple. And this game was tough, and like you said, there was opportunities. And when it came to the second and third quarter, like I got excited because I felt like he actually got in a rhythm and he was making throws and he was making decisive decisions. Like the throw's not there, so I'm going to run. And then that unraveled. in the fourth quarter. And even on the last two drives, I felt like he tried so hard to put on that Superman cape and make every play with his arm, which even on the last drive, we had a minute 33. Brother, we have time. You could run. We have timeouts. You could run, get 6, 7, get on the ball, or get out of bounds. Like, you don't have to try to get 15 chunk yards just to get the ball moving. All we need is first down. That's the most important. That's what we always talk about when it comes to a 2-minute drill, is getting that first down and getting the clock going and getting the ball going. So that was really my biggest thing as a fifth year, realistically a 6-year quarterback. You can't take 2 sacks. That was the conversation we had with Dylan Raiola last year, who was a freshman. Like, you can't take 2 sacks. You got to be smarter than that. So I think it was all around disappointing. Obviously, there was a glimpse of hope there, but just the way that it ended was just kind of a shot in the foot, and it was just kind of heartbreaking to go back-to-back years losing in this type of fashion. So that's kind of where I'm at.
So with all that said, and again, more injury news as Addison Ostrenga his Achilles is exploded, so he's done for the year. Injuries have not been kind to Iowa, but again, no, I don't care. Let me ask you guys this. Looking at what's coming up, tell me, is this a fair statement, or am I just overreacting? That looking at what the schedule is, if Iowa's not 5-1 when Penn State comes to town, there is a big problem. That fans have the right to be pissed. Home to UMass, at Rutgers, home to Indiana, at Wisconsin. Should be 4 wins. If you're a program that where we want you to be, all 4 of those should be wins.
I'll kind of be not. I don't want to say accept the Indiana game, but I'm like 50-50 on Indiana
you
right
get
now.
Them at home.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm not. If they did lose, I won't look at it too bad, but I will be upset if they go anything less than 2 losses going into that Penn State game. Then there's some serious. If you lose to Rutgers and Wisconsin, this version of Wisconsin, I would be very upset. Like, it's just, you look at some of the things, like I love that Dom brought up, like Gronowski trying to be Superman. Like, you look at that last drive in particular where he takes the 2 sacks and he rolls out to the left on the final play and he tries to hit the play down the sideline. He has receiver right at the line, right at the first markers, wide open, but he tries to take the big play because nothing's really working. So he's trying to make something happen because it's South Dakota State. He was that guy. He was the guy to put on the Superman cape and carry them across things and make those big throws. And now he's not stepping up. He's not confident in his throws. He's short hopping every single pass to the flat. So when he has a chance to make a big play, he tries to take that versus, the short pass that is going to be a first down as well. So if you see that, and in a game like UMass, if you're struggling in a game like UMass, there's going to be some problems. But like Dom also said, Kirk's not a guy that's going to just, okay, this isn't working, we're going to get to the new guy. Because, I mean, we saw Deacon Hill play 6-7 games while he was a starting quarterback. He started a Big Ten championship game while he was here. So it's nervy going into those games because we talk about Rice is the only worst passing attack in college football right now than the Iowa Hawkeyes, which is so sad, insanely sad to think about. So hopefully something corrects against UMass, but this next run, it's a little more nervy than what it should be at this point in time.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thought process as well. Is anything more than 2 losses, then we I don't know, we gotta burn the boats and figure something else out. We gotta, I don't know, like if we gotta go in a whole different direction as Iowa football and new quarterback, new whatever it might look like. It's just not to the standard that that Iowa football fans and Iowa old players, in my opinion, are accepting with. And then the fact that we haven't beat a ranked team since 2021, like that's
And
it's
yeah,
not
the
good.
numbers on that have not been good. Like the average score is like 33-6.
Yeah. So I think it's just a lot of frustration, and there's a lot of people who are really getting tired with the same old outfit that shows up every single week. It's kind of the soul cycle they always talk about on Twitter, where you're like, oh, we're excited for, our quarterback. Oh, our quarterback sucks. Oh, we need a new quarterback. So it's just like it's the cycle that we keep hearing again, feel like since Nate Stanley left. And that's just it shouldn't be like that, but I mean it's kind of the running joke of college football that Iowa can't throw the ball. Like we know they're gonna run, but especially when you come against players or come against teams like Indiana, you're gonna need to keep up with them. They score the ball extremely well. They have shown it the past 2 years that they can put the ball in the end zone at a very high rate. And no matter if it's on the road or at home, you're going to have to score points. They don't care. You see how Kirk Cignetti coaches that team. They don't care where they're at. They could be in the parking lot. They're going to try to put up 70. It really doesn't matter. So when we talk about the way that this new Big Ten looks, scoring points is going to be really important. And the fact that we can't seem to score points consistently in the past 2-3 years, when we talk about college football playoff, we have to get realistic. And we have to talk about scoring points is going to be the most important thing. I understand that we're going to have a great defense until Iowa football doesn't exist. We're going to be able to run the ball until Iowa football isn't here anymore. But we can't be a one-dimensional offense and expect to keep up with the Oregons and the Penn States and the Indianas of the world. We have to get some sort of resemblance of a pass game, a balanced attack, so people can't just put 8 people in the box and say, okay, throw it and see what happens. The way that Iowa State was playing us, their cornerbacks were sitting at 8 yards and were like, I dare you to throw the ball. Like, I promise you, I want you to throw the ball over 12 yards, and if you don't, I'm going to sit on it. And that's exactly what happened on the pick. He sat right on it as soon as he broke. Obviously, Weegan can't fall down. Like, that's plain and simple. But they were just sitting there baiting him to throw the ball, and he did. So it's like, that's where we got to get better. And that needs to be our first priority until it's fixed. And when we talk about how we're going to look when we come to Penn State, we got to figure out if we can throw the ball. And I feel like that's where we got to figure out this week, right now. We got to figure out our pass game. We can't go into those games expect to win when we can't throw over 100 yards against UMass, against Iowa State. So I think until we can figure that out, it's hard to kind of give an answer of what the record is going to look like because there's so many things that we need to fix, but that's got to be the most important thing.
Listen, for me, it's simple that this is a program that with a 12-team playoff, again, I'm not going to have the expectations they make it year in and year out. But I want to be in that conversation come late October and into November that, listen, I know they're not going to make it every year, but be in the mix. And to be in the mix, you have to win the next 4. Listen, who knows if Luke Fickell will even be the coach at Wisconsin when we come to that game, because we'll see what happens against Alabama with them this weekend. But UMass cannot be an acceptable loss. Listen, I know Rutgers is not what Rutgers was 5 years ago. Greg Schiano's actually done a decent job out there. Don't care. Go there and get a win, which is just another Friday night game, which why? We don't need those anymore. And then, what was the other one I mentioned? It's Indiana. Yeah, duh. Indiana, listen, they've played 2 high schools, and they're going to play a JUCO next week. They're going to be coming off a game against Illinois, so they're probably going to be beat up. Listen, that's a game that if you want to be a serious program, you win. And you know what? If Indiana ends up going 12-0 and is in the Big Ten title game, I will get on this show in November and apologize for putting that expectation on them. But I do think there needs to be that expectation of, hey, win the next 4, because we'll talk about some of them. Like, it's not apples to apples, but Michigan State beating Boston College is kind of a similar game. Boston College not as good as Indiana, but that's the one where I don't care how they win. Against UMass, I'm going to care how they win a little bit. We'll talk about that later in the week, but I don't want to overreact to one loss because Iowa State is a good team, and they could very well end up in the college football playoff. But we got to see something coming out, and when Penn State comes to town, Iowa needs to be 5-1 for me personally.
Yeah, and I want to go back real quick at what Dom was talking about, the defender sitting back, and what doesn't help that as well with Gronowski. Gronowski's got such a long throwing motion. It's like all the way back here. It's such a long motion. So, and he had the shoulder surgery before this offseason as well, which made it even longer. So there's even a little hitch in there. So when they're sitting back so much and that long motion comes in, they're just easy to jump on that every single time. In the FCS, you're able to get away with that because you're South Dakota State. You are the big dogs with North Dakota State. You can get away with that kind of stuff, even though you're in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, which is an insanely tough conference. You can get away with that because naturally there's not as good of athletes at the FCS level as the rest at the FBS level. So teams like Iowa State, look at teams like Penn State, Oregon, they're going to eat that up. They're going to sit 8 yards back and bait Iowa into throwing those hitches. And when they do, they're going to pounce on it, and he's going to have that long motion. It's going to come through, and there's going to be an easy interception. Again, the Weechin falling over doesn't help anything. It's such long motion. I was noticing that when I was watching before the season started, and then now watching it this year, it just keeps getting longer and longer. And the lack of confidence in stepping up into those throws makes it even longer because he's more or less just bobbling there and then falling back and then throwing with the long motion, which just makes it even longer to get the ball out. And yeah, these games like Indiana, I'm more scared for Indiana's passing offense than anything because Fernando Mendoza, I think, is a very, very good quarterback, and the players they have like Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, who dropped a walk-in touchdown against Old Dominion. They have some good players on that team, and you just need to see some consistency going into a game like that because Indiana, they play in Illinois prior to the game against Iowa. So they're going to be tested going into that game as well. And they play Oregon the week after Iowa. So it could be a game where Indiana's looking to Oregon because Oregon's the 4th or 5th or whatever going to be ranked at that point in the season. They look past Iowa. Maybe Iowa could take advantage of that with it being at home, being at Kinnick and all that stuff. Like there's a chance for Iowa to do that. It's just like games against Rutgers, games against Wisconsin. You need to beat teams. This is the Wisconsin of 5 years ago where they're running the piss out of the ball with Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Taylor, Corey Clement. This is Luke Fickell's Wisconsin on their 3rd quarterback in 3 years. This is Luke Fickell's Wisconsin that wants to play air raid all the time. Iowa needs to beat Wisconsin. They need to beat the brakes off of UMass. If they throw the ball 100 times, I just want to see something in that game passing the ball. Because like Dom said, Iowa's going to be able to run the ball to the end of time. That slow mesh, that's a good thing that I like that they're working that into the offense a little bit more. I think that's going to be fun with Gronowski in there. But they can run the ball. They can play defense. They can get after the quarterback. The passing offense cannot be worse than a triple option school. You cannot be worse than Navy, Army, Air Force. You need to be able to throw the ball. Rice should not be the only team worse than passing than Iowa is in college football. There should be numerous teams below Iowa. Like the next closest team to Iowa in regards to passing offense, the Power 4 conference is Kentucky, and they're ranked 118th. Like there are numerous spots above Iowa in regards to passing offense. Like it's so infuriating to watch this passing offense go in games like UMass, Rutgers, Gracio's got them working better than what they have in previous years, but you need to beat them in this weird, like you talked about, this weird Friday night. I don't know why they keep doing this with Rutgers, but just get some consistency flowing, get something working because that game against Indiana is going to be rough. And then you look at Penn State, Oregon, at USC, at Nebraska. Like there's not a lot of time to get this stuff figured out. So get it figured out while you can so you can hopefully flow into the latter half of the season, kind of build on what you worked on against UMass, Rutgers, and Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I think Brady just answering one of the things you said is, yeah, it's not, I mean, no one, even last year, was undefeated. The Ohio State wasn't undefeated and they won a national championship. So it's not necessarily about the losses, it's how we look in the loss. I feel like that's what
it was
gets
right
a lot
there.
of us.
It
So
was right there to take it.
It was right there.
Iowa
They gave
State
us every
had a chance,
opportunity.
Yes, had a chance to go for the kill shot many times. Listen, Iowa State scored, 3 points in the second half? And it were the 3 points that won it. They didn't look like world beaters.
No, and hats off to our defense because that offense is really good. And they got players, they got receivers. Obviously, they're not as good as the 2 that they had last year that are with the Texans now. They got great tight ends, which, I mean, trying to steal our thunder, I guess it is what it is. We know I think Gus Johnson might have said that 20 times that, it's weird that Iowa State has good tight ends. That's usually what Iowa's known for. Like, yeah, we get it. Okay, stop saying that every time they make a catch. But, I mean, when you talk about the way our defense played, Iowa State didn't have many explosives. And I think the most jarring play was the double-tipped pass that their tight end caught. I mean, it happens. It bounces. We're used to weird bounces in this type of game, the same way the punt was weird, and they sat and talked about it for 45 minutes to see what the ball was going to be like. Was the big play, and while it was great when it happened for him, it's just our defense was playing lights out against an offense that is very tricky to game plan for because they have so many weapons and they have a good quarterback who can really lead the charge and really gives that team and that honestly that stadium a lot of momentum. They feel what did he again? Gus Johnson kept saying that Matt Campbell felt like he could sleep well at night because Rocco Beck's at quarterback, which I thought was a little
18
wild.
to
But
27,
I mean,
a buck 34. Come on now.
I
James
mean,
Jesus wasn't there on
we all
Saturday
sleep a little
night.
differently, I guess. It is what it is. But
He's
they
a
were
nice
just saying-
quarterback, but he was not. He was not what they want him to be. Like he made some nice throws, but don't get me wrong. If Mark Gronowski wasn't complete dog water, people would be. And if Iowa won that game, people might have been on Rocco Beck's a little more.
Might have. They would have been. The fact that you lost to a team that is, I mean, at its peak of one-dimensional at its very moment. So that the game's as close as it was, we really have to give our hats off to our defense because they really played well and they were getting after the ball and moving around and flying around. And our DBs were actually pretty sticky this game. I would probably give my hats off to them as well because again, that this type of offense that could really put up some points fast, it's hard to do. So it's the way we look in our losses that is what I'm trying to say is we just have to be better offensively. And we've been saying it. I was talking to my buddies, Max Cooper, Nick Easley, some old Iowa guys, just like, I think we need to reclassify so we can get a little offense going because this is not good. And it just can't keep happening. It can't keep escalating to where we seem like we keep getting worse. So I think that was really the way that I left the game is we got to find a way to get better, just all around offensively, and it's got to happen quickly.
All right, last question for you boys. Concern meter 1 to 10. 1 being, you know what, we're fine. We're still very strong to make the playoffs. I'm so very confident we will. And 10 being blow everything up and replace everyone, even the secretaries.
I would probably. Jeez, I don't even really have an idea for. There's part of me that's like, oh, it was Iowa State's a ranked team, so it's fine, or it's fine within reason, because Iowa realistically should. I mean, it's been said throughout history, Iowa should always beat Iowa State. That's kind of the expectation at this point. And Iowa State's getting better, but that doesn't make the loss feel any that much like, oh, Iowa State's a good team. It's like, defense, awesome. Running game, really like it. Can't wait for Kamari Moulton to get back. Offensive line, good. Passing game, turbo ass. I'm probably gonna sit like a 5 or 6 at this point. I think that's that. I think that's where I would go rating wise.
I think I'm probably sitting at about a 4 or 5. And the only reason I'm that low is because I understand that, or I understand what these coaches are capable of. You know, being in that system for 3 years, you know, they've turned some really regular players into stars, and they've turned some really what's Iowa known for? Turning walk-ons into NFL players, turning 3 stars into top 100 NFL players. So it's understanding what they could do as far as development. Like that's what gives me the comfortability to say 4, and the fact that it is only week 3 and we can't necessarily throw everything out. Yeah, I think we're all just frustrated that we lost to Iowa State because it is the little brother across the street. And of course, he's going to talk about it for another 365 days about, oh, you guys can't beat us. And ha, 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 we won. Our quarterback's better than you. So it's annoying to have to hear that for another year. So I feel like it just stings a little bit. But I'd say about 4. Our running game is going to be obviously really important. I really liked Patterson. I think he runs the ball really well, and I think he's got he's got some toughness to him that I would think is going to be really important for this offense to not only lean on, but to kind of spread. Like, hey, he's going, so we got to follow him. And the way he was playing, I feel like that was giving us a lot of juice because he was 6-7 yards a pop, and it was really helpful and helped us get to those 3rd and shorts where we could either get the first down or we get to a 4th and short and we have a 235-pound quarterback. So it's like, let's run this thing. So I think the way he played, that was giving me a lot of juice. I like the way he plays. I like the way he runs with the ball. And, of course, the defense is going to help us out as much as possible. So those two things, obviously our special teams always is great. Coach does a phenomenal job. So I think those 3 things give me some confidence that we'll still be okay, but the expectation is to win, regardless of who's there, regardless of where we're at. So as long as we're throwing the ball like this, that number is unfortunately going to get higher. So hopefully we can keep taking steps forward, keep getting better when it comes to that. Hopefully get over 100 yards passing this game and get out of slot 135. But until then, we'll see what that number becomes next week.
Yeah, I think a 4 is about right because they have some really like, again, it is 1 loss to a ranked team by 3 points, but things do need to improve. And again, I'm not wavering on the B5-1 when Penn State comes to town. That's where I'm sitting at. So yeah, and also I want to see a little more Xavier Williams. I thought, 7 carries seemed a little light for him. So I'd like to see more. I did like that he out of the 83 passing yards he had, more than half of them were to Gill. So I like that he found a target. Listen, UMass better be a laugher. That's all I'm saying. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, we'll get to that later in the week. So for Logan, Blackman, former Hawkeye tight end Dominique Dafney, again, plug our socials before we send it home.
We got X, we got YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of them Bleav in Iowa. Come check us out.
All right. And I'm Brady Beedon for next time on Bleav in Iowa.